Hey, I'm Jonathan, and I live in London, England.
Hey, I'm Jeff, and I live in Perth, Australia.
Together, we are Echo and Sidetrack.
We produce music that sounds like this.
And this.
And even this. This podcast is about music, creativity, and everything in between the giant space that separates us.
Welcome to A Band Apart with Echo and Sidetrack.
We're also brought to you by Micrology Coffee Roasters, another amazing Perth company doing some big things. They source their coffee from around the world, roast it right here in WA, and can send it to you wherever you are, so you can enjoy the sweet, sweet brown liquid that is coffee. This week, we have a discount code for you. That discount code is
Sidetrack. That's spelled SIDETRACK at micrology.com.au.
Enter Sidetrack at checkout for 20% off. Get some coffee beans sent to you, and if you want it pre-ground or something because you don't have a grinder and you just want to try it out, just add that in the notes and they'll sort it out for you. Micrology Coffee Roasters. By far the best coffee you've had ever.
This podcast is also brought to you by Short Order Burger Co. Personally, I think it's the best burger in Australia. There's one store on Hay Street in the city and a new shop in Fremantle. Go get a nice, tasty, wet one right inside.
Jonathan, have you looked up at the sky lately?
I looked up at the sky last night and saw the moon.
Did you see the face that is appearing on the moon?
I saw the crescent moon. A crescent moon.
Ah, nice. One thing I looked up at the sky and saw was the fact that Jupiter and Saturn are really close, or appear to be really close together, in the southern hemisphere sky, and it's quite cool. Like if you look at it, there's like a very bright star and then a slightly less bright star next to it, and they look like they're close. Obviously, they're not, but yeah, it's quite a cool little universe, galactic. I don't know.
Galactic alignment.
Let's go with galactic alignment. It made me think of like Star Wars when they have multiple moons and stuff in their sky, and how cool that looks and how interesting that is, and like, I don't know, just I felt a little bit like I was living on Endor, maybe.
Yeah, there's I think there used to be, I might be completely wrong, but there used to be two moons. They think there used to be two moons on planet Earth. I'm going to fact check that before I say that. That's fucking ridiculous.
Well, they say that the moon was a piece of the Earth that potentially broke off.
Yeah. How did it get so smooth, though? I mean, it's not that smooth, but like, it's pretty ball-like.
Well, gravity will pull something into a ball. I believe that's how it works. If you've just joined us, you're listening to two drum and bass producers talk about shit they know nothing about.
The
moon is formed.
Earth may have had two moons.
Is that the end of the fact?
Yeah, hang on a second. They would have formed from debris that was ejected from a Mars-sized protoplanet that smacked into Earth late in its formation period. Whereas the traditional theory states that the infant moon rapidly swept up any rival or gravitationally ejected stuff from interstellar space. The new theory suggests that the one body survived, parked in a gravitationally stable point in the Earth-Moon system. Okay, so when some other planet hit Earth and the moon was formed, there was another little moon that hung around for a bit more.
Imagine being on Earth when the planet struck.
Talk about
oh shit! What's that thing coming towards us?
I'd love to see that kind of thing on a galactic scale, like sitting on a couch. I don't know how far you'd have to be away, but like further enough away that it wasn't going to hurt you, but close enough that you could just view it in quite like detail. kind of like an IMAX film. Like if someone had like an IMAX camera set up around the Earth when it was collided by the other protoplanet, that would be so fucking cool.
I'm sure there's very good artist renderings of things like this, but I know exactly what you mean. Like watching, I mean, what kind of damage does that cause? Considering that an asteroid, a large asteroid, could really throw things into disarray, as the dinosaurs learnt. I wonder what I don't know how big a protoplanet is, but it sounds like it's reasonably sizable. But I listened to a podcast a while ago.
Well, I think that a planet.
Yeah, and I just have more questions than I do have answers. Let's be honest.
Sorry, no, you listened to a podcast a while ago. Keep going.
Oh, I listened to. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm quite tired from a large weekend as festivities have started here relating to Christmas, but my brain has at least 35 minutes left of battery power left, so I'm going to give it a go. I was listening to a podcast, and when they were talking about a bit more of a kind of telling of the dinosaurs, the cataclysm, that's the word I was looking for, that ended the dinosaurs, and we were always kind of taught that it was like a slow decline, like, you know, but these scientists and a bunch of other people were saying that, like, it actually may have been a lot more like minutes to hours rather than like years.
Is this
But
what podcast?
It's a Radio Lab episode.
Yeah, the Radio Lab.
It's on Radio Lab.
Yeah, cool. If you want to go find it, it's search Radio Lab End of the World or End of the Dinosaurs or something.
Yeah, End of the Dinosaurs or something. Because they basically say that the asteroid would have hit and like shot so much stuff into the atmosphere that it would have caused like giant shards of glass and all sorts of other stuff to fall to the Earth. And also
wasn't it like lightning rain?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, it sounds so fucking chaotic and mental.
It sounds like hell.
But it basically explains why there's parts of America not far from where the impact was, which I believe is in the Yucatan, which is just in the Gulf of Mexico. Which you can actually see on a map. If you like look at it on a map on like a satellite picture, you can kind of see like a dent in the Gulf. Yeah, there's parts in Southern America that like look like they've had like sediment moved fucking long distance very, very quickly. Like, how did the fish from this area get to the fish to go into that lake kind of thing? They would have been flung or destroyed, or I don't know. Again, you're listening to someone, a simple ape, try and explain some sort of physics. But yeah, go and listen to the podcast. I often think what an impact would look like, Jonathan. You know, just stepping out of the studio or something and just like kind of looking up and seeing like meteors rain down. And I think it would be not something that I particularly want to live through, but at the same time, you'd be like, this is really, really cool. I'd want asteroidal impact. Actually, I'd want asteroid, but not impact. Like, oh, it just burnt up in the atmosphere. That was really cool to see.
But if an asteroid is coming fast enough and large enough to see, it's going to hit. What you want is an asteroid to go past a safe distance away from Earth, that it doesn't affect any satellites and it doesn't affect anything, but you're still close enough that you can kind of see it with the telescope. But man, these things are going so fucking quickly that even if it's big enough, you're going to see it coming. Like, I just don't know if you'd even see it coming. They're coming fast. You know, in like Deep Impact and stuff, it's kind of like bearing down on the Earth.
We've been monitoring the situation for just over a year now. We've been building the ark.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like that. I think a lot of asteroids also come from the sun. so they're actually quite hard to quite see.
They come from behind the sun, or like we just can't see them because, yeah. And man, it's very often that asteroids come quite close to us. If you'd like to hear more about this subject, go and listen to someone who knows what they're talking on it, and someone like Randall Carlson has done some great podcasts with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And he's very knowledgeable on the impacts and cataclysms. Particularly, I think it's his first episode, somewhere probably in the 600s or something. Just Google Randall Carlson, Joe Rogan. He's been on a few times, but the first one is absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah.
Or just look up even the series. I think it was a Netflix thing. The remake of Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson. That was really, really good.
I think it would be cool to view, like it would be cool to view anything. What do I want to say? So say you come out of the studio and you see small pre-meteorites start hitting the ground.
Hitting the ground or hitting the atmosphere, so they're like creating a tail?
Hitting the atmosphere, but they're like, there's a big boy coming.
And then a giant siren rings out, or I see the things and I'm like, what's going on? And then we turn on the news and it's like emergency broadcast, like, this thing is days away.
Yeah, what do you do?
What are their predictions for the asteroid?
They think it's going to hit somewhere around...
Carrying up shops? Actually, very specifically targeted right into that little Woolworths just there.
It's going to hit the Maya building. No, it's going to be like it's going to hit somewhere where the survival rate for Perth, the best two places to be are Perth and London somehow.
Okay.
I don't know where that other point is.
Maybe we can get Neil to call in and tell us.
So basically we get told that it's going to come. It's going to hit. Maybe like it's going to hit South America, west coast of South America.
Let's just make it hit smack bang in the Himalayas.
I'm done.
So what?
I'm done.
Well, how big is this? You reckon?
Yeah, it's gonna. The one that hit the Yucatan was like a kilometer wide. What that? Maybe a kilometer. Hang on, let me just double check this. So the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs, which is the craters in the Yucatan Peninsula.
That's such a primary school like terminology. Like the asteroid that destroyed the dinosaurs.
One of the other like people also ask is, how big is the asteroid that's coming in 2020? So the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs was thought to be between 10 and 15 kilometers wide.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
So that's big, right? And the Earth apparently rang for a few thousand years afterwards. Like rang, like resonated.
So what do you reckon that would sound like?
Something like that. And that's just people's reality.
Or do you reckon it was like a really piercing high noise?
Okay, so 10, 15 kilometers wide. It destroys an entire, pretty resilient race, or most reptiles, and a lot of other things. It kills a bunch of shit on the whole Earth. If it was the same size as that, we'd be pretty much done for.
Or let's make it 2 kilometers big, and it's going to hit in an unpopulated area of the Himalayas.
I still think I'm done.
Well, it's coming in a few days, so what do you do?
Whew.
And they predict it's going to hit that, and we're going to have some big issues. But they think because it's not hitting the water, it won't be a direct Deep Impact X-esque tidal wave, but there will be.
Can you imagine a scientist on the news? They're like, because it won't hit directly in the water, it will be less like Deep Impact and more like another asteroid movie.
It'll probably be more of a Point Break style situation, a 50-year storm situation.
Could we send some drillers up and make it an Armageddon-like situation? We have thought about that situation, and we cannot do that. Bruce Willis is no longer acting.
I suggest you get a motorbike and start riding along the hills away, more like a Deep Impact style situation.
With your pregnant wife, who's a teenager. Or you can find your estranged father and live the Deep Impact situation and go hug him by the shoreline.
Now we cross to Taya Leone for her insights on the
As
impact.
being in the film Deep Impact, I have several thoughts about this impact.
And now we've got Dennis Quaid to weigh in.
I was in a movie about storms, not meteorites. I don't know, man. I would accept that there would be no way for me to get home.
Would you not? Would you try? Would you? If they were saying like, we're doing flights all. Actually, no. It'd just be absolute. It would turn to chaos so quickly, man. There'd be no. All you could do is find your loved ones and spend time with them and wait. Talk about people panic buy when they go into a lockdown for 2 weeks. Imagine being told that the Earth is going to change very much forever. Like, we're about to get some really, really major environmental impacts.
Oh, do you reckon the Oscars are still on?
No. Everything is fucking cancelled. Money doesn't mean anything anymore.
Oh, do you reckon Origin's still going to be on? Like, what are you doing for New Year's?
I would, I'd burrow into the ground like a weasel or a badger. I'd go find a badger hole. I would call the world's leading expert in badgering, and I'd find a big enough badger hole.
He'd be a fucking annoying
maybe
guy.
the biggest one around London, the biggest one around London, and I would excavate that out because they'd already done the groundwork. I'd excavate that out.
Literally, pun intended.
And I'd live under there, or start preparing myself to live underground. And then the asteroid would hit, and it wouldn't save me, and I'd die in such an uncomfortable way, just like crammed up with heaps of badgers. Like, this was fucking shit. And they get real hot, and they get angry and start scratching me away.
Guys, what are we going to eat?
As the flames start to push down into the hole.
More like a backdraft situation.
I'd probably. Oh yeah, that would be like a backdraft situation.
I wonder if you could find a mine and go down it with enough supplies and then just come to the surface with a gas mask and a two-wave radio.
I just don't think that kind of stuff is going to be open to. I mean, I am a tax-paying resident, but like that kind of thing, that kind of plan is going to be open to the elite, politicians, celebrities, that type of thing.
I think it's all going to go out the window when that kind of thing happens. It would be kind of, they'd be like, all right, we need you to calmly do this kind of thing. And I think you'd have to take matters into your own hands a bit because they're not going to look out for you. The systems aren't going to look out for you. No one's prepared for this.
Yeah, that's very true. I wouldn't join the rabble. That's for sure. I think I'd rather approach it like the Norwegian couple in Titanic who kind of hold each other as the impending doom is happening. Like, I'd probably stick around. I'd probably go get some booze, probably try to get some mushrooms, gather together with the friends I've got here, see Tony and Tash. I just try to get everyone to get to the same spot.
Yeah.
Because there's no, in that scenario, I don't think there's any way that's like, if only I stayed inside my house, I would have survived. I think it's going to be like, kind of like a day after tomorrow situation. Anything north of this line, anyone north of this line is already dead. Anyone south, everyone has to try to get south of this line. And
yeah. I imagine as well the impact is probably going to be like a Terminator 2 kind of, when the blast wave hit them, they fell apart like leaves kind of situation. Like, so whether you're inside or not, the fucking hellfire is going to rain down on you pretty hard. So maybe the Taya Leone approach, to find your loved ones, hug them, keep them close, and then be burnt alive by the hellfire is the answer. I'm not sure I'd want to survive. I think the world post, especially if it was really bad, and it just turned into like every person for themselves. No. I've not seen or read The Road, but I would like to. And I think that's kind of what that's about, like the post-apocalyptic existence. I think it would be very, very dark. Not only because we wouldn't probably have electricity, but I mean also dark emotionally and physically. I think it would be insane.
I would like to see. I mean, the cloud would be so big you wouldn't be able to see the stars. So even if there was no electricity, just imagine like darkness and just like heaps of noises of people like running around and like crowing like animals. I'd want to be probably killed in the blast wave for sure.
And even if you did grab enough supplies and then you find a spot, like you get a cabin that you're hiding out in or something, what happens when the have-nots come for your stuff and it turns into a 28 days later style situation?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to live through that.
No.
I'd rather just go out looking at something beautiful. It would be like, if it's coming right at you.
How far do you think it is away?
A trillion miles. if it's so big that it's like, if it was just bearing down on you and you're just standing up there, you're like, it would be like a Michelangelo painting. It'd be like the Sistine Chapel.
It would be awesome in the true sense of the true meaning of the word, like
some,
or inspiring, or some, or I don't know.
Just looking at it and you'd probably start crying, like you'd weep.
I'd probably cry before that point.
I probably would too, but you'd just be put back to. You'd just go home, Jeff. That's what would happen.
Yeah, it would be pretty exciting actually. Like the whole concept of like, you'd know you were going to die,
and you knew everyone else was going to die, so it's not like
you could really accept it and be like, "What do we do next?"
How much of death is like FOMO? How much of the sadness of death is like, oh, I'm going to die, but everyone else gets to keep going and see the next season of fucking The Queen's Gambit. I'm going to miss out on so much. Like, if you knew everyone else that you loved was going to die when you died, you'd be like, okay.
That's probably why cults have a little bit more of a sales pitch. All your mates are going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I think definitely it would be a little bit easier to accept. I told you that I had that weird dream. Like, typically for me, dreams are about me masturbating wildly in the jungle.
That's funny because my dreams are exactly the same, about you masturbating wildly in the jungle.
What's that sound? The jungle drums of Jumanji. It's just me beating it. Polishing my musket. The plane dreams that I've had over the years have been, apparently plane dreams are about control. And you feel like things are losing control. Or like I've had dreams where I've been on a plane and it's like it's going to crash. And I've had dreams where I've been going to the airport and I've literally seen a plane fall out of the sky, like coming towards, like, and crashing like 800 meters away. But then I had a dream kind of recently, maybe like in the last 2 months, where I was on a plane. We were doing a pretty steep turn coming into land, and I looked out the window and like the plane kind of started shaking and a few people started making a few noises and we were quite close to the ground, and then you could just feel that the plane stalled, and then you could like, the engines went and just like kind of conked out. And I was like, we've made too much downward momentum we're driving towards the ground. And I just glanced out the window, and I knew we were going to crash. And I just closed my eyes. And like calmly just like impact. And then I woke up, but the room was dark. It was completely silent and everything. And for the first for 30 seconds, I was like, I died. And this is what death is. It's all black. I'll suppose I'll wait for someone to come and get me or something. But that wasn't so bad. I'm pretty happy that I was calm at the end. Why was I on the plane? Wait. I'm not dead. I'm in bed. That was a dream. Okay. Fuck. Weird dream. But it was very calm and peaceful in a weird way. So I wonder if I'd be able to embrace that kind of calmness as the blast wave from the asteroid bared down on me.
I'd like to be able to think so, but I also think it would just be. I mean, I think I would prefer a blast wave than the plane, because the plane would have such. You could have avoided it somehow. No,
but in a plane, that's the thing. It's not like you can get to go. Give me a go. I'll land this thing.
No, but you just could have not got on the plane. But again, that's like thinking too butterfly effecty. That would be a butterfly effect situation.
I think it's probably more of a final destination kind of situation.
That's true. You can't go back. Oh, that's a crazy dream that I thought you were going to say you had a dream where you were on a plane and someone asked you to land it and you landed it great and everyone was like, great job. And you woke up and you're like, wow, I really feel like I'm in control of my life at the moment.
No, it was I don't think I've ever had a dream like it. It's kind of strange. I definitely don't think about my mortality as much as I may have used to when I was younger. There's still things that scare me. I could rationalize, like going for a swim at dusk in like deep water at the beach.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
Doesn't fill me with confidence, and my brain definitely starts telling me more stories. And especially because I'm like, I can just if I want to cool down, I'll just I don't have to, I can just be up to my waist and just like swan around in that water. I don't have to go out in the dark grey waters. What was that?
I don't have to do those deep dives to, people like I need to there's an element of risk in that. I don't need that kind of risk. And I think it's probably because we're pretty safe people. But I would take other risks in other places. It's funny how some people are risk takers in one way and then fairly safe in others.
But I would say they're all calculated risks, because you're an adrenaline junkie or something and you like climbing or something. Like I'd say someone like Alex Honnold, he doesn't think he's taking a risk because he's so rehearsed at it. It's like if he starts getting stressed on a climb, then he knows he's already in trouble because he should never get, feel that kind of pressure because it's just like going through the motions because he's so well rehearsed. So he would argue that everything he's doing is very low risk. Whereas if I did it, because I'm untrained and everything, I'd be taking a big risk.
God. How far do you reckon you could get up El Capitan?
Ooh. Free climbing?
Without a rope? I reckon maybe about 3 meters.
About 2.5 maybe? And probably not, even. I'd be able to pull myself up to a certain point and then I wouldn't be able to get down.
Yeah, I'd need to call the rescue team.
Get a helicopter in.
How far off the ground is he? He's 2.5 meters. Chopper someone in. That's
the big deal. That's when my mate Mickey broke his leg a few years ago when we were he was on a climbing wall at a Bucks party, and we're all pretty pissed. And some of the guys climbed up pretty high, and
Without a rope.
with no rope, and he just climbed one or two holds past where it was a reasonable like reach to be able to get down.
Yeah.
So like there was no hold to go put a hand on and like easily climb down. So he basically had to jump
off.
down, and he was like 4 meters up. And then that week he went fucking diving with sharks in South Australia.
He broke his leg though.
Yeah. It was in a big moon boot thing. I think, yeah, his ankle or something. But he didn't want to change his flights or his other plans, so he just, went to the sharks with his big moon boot on. He is a hell man. Shout out to Mickey. You're a crazy man.
Shout out, Mickey.
Can you give me and the listeners a little bit of an update on your soul, spirit, and current situation?
Yeah. Soul is okay. Today it's not doing great, but some yoga has helped. I'll go for a walk in a bit. Do some writing. I think feeling a bit just a tad down, it's Christmas, it's the week of Christmas. We've just gone into a tier 4 lockdown situation here, which means no socializing except with one other person in a park. So it kind of fucks up Christmas plans. It's the end of a year. It's the end of a tough year. And I saw a good post on Instagram today that might actually describe my mood better. If you had said that you're at the end of your tether anytime in 2020, find comfort in the fact that, in fact, you were probably only halfway into your tether, or something like that. And I thought that was quite funny. I don't know. I'm feeling a bit blurg today, just a bit like fuck it. But that's okay. It will turn around because I can get out of the funk. But overall, man, it's just another fucking day in London. The fact that Brexit is also happening around this time is pretty mental. Like, as much as we joke about a fucking asteroid hitting the Earth, like, again, I'm not too educated on it, but like the UK seems to be going into 2021 being isolated from Europe, having really bad COVID cases. Like, it's not looking good for UK in 2021.
Would you say it's some sort of an emotional and an economic asteroid that's already hit, and now you're feeling the effects of the blast wave?
Maybe. That's actually a pretty concise way to describe it. That's why I've befriended the local badger and going to see if he's going to take me into his realm.
Imagine you seeing a badger around a park and stuff, and just like, oh, where is this hole? And then like kind of seeing it, you see him leave, then you're like, I'm just going to go check it out. And then you like crawl down in there, and then you knock your head on something on the roof, and you're like, oh, what's that? And you like touch it, and then he's like, you're like, oh, is that it feels like a hard piece of human technology. And then you like clap your hands, and then heaps of lights come on, and you realize and then you hear a voice when like, oi, who's down there? And then you're like, what the fuck? And then you clap your hands again to turn off his lights. The lights come on because he's clapped his hands, and the badger can talk. And then he's like, what are you doing? And then you explain the situation, and then he becomes your new housemate. And you'll start living a kind of Tales of Narnia kind of situation.
I mean, I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't love it. But he could find like robin's eggs and share them with me.
But you could also go to the shop and just buy normal fucking food and share that with
Yeah,
him.
but I would feel like I would lean into his foraging way of life.
Here's some blueberries, Jonathan.
I've been picking them all year. I need to hibernate in your dirty clothes basket for the next 6 months. Maybe he's using me for my clearly better things. No matter, like, I don't have a clapper in my house.
Can I borrow your belt, Jonathan?
I don't have a clapper in my house, but I guarantee that I've probably got better situation than a fucking glorified rabbit living in the ground.
I thought you were going to say something about a glory hole then. A badger glory hole.
We've got clappers, we've got blueberries, and we've got a state-of-the-art glory hole we made. That's right, people. Anytime you go to the local park and stick your dick in a hole, it's not a person sucking it on the other end. It's a badger.
A badger.
No, but how I feel is this conversation has made me feel better. Speaking to other people makes me feel better. Everyone's in the same situation. Like, it's difficult. You don't want to complain. You want to kind of have a sense of stoicism about the whole thing. But at the same time, you have to voice how you feel. You have to be like, well, this fucking sucks at the moment. I think it's important to kind of express how you feel. Something that I'm trying to do now is express how I feel and then move past it. Like, so you don't wallow in this feeling of like, everything sucks. My life fucking sucks at the moment, blah, blah, blah. That you go, it sucks at the moment. I feel like this, blah, blah, blah. And then you get past it and do something completely different to move past. You can still feel like, and that kind of helps the feelings subside in your own head, and you start to realize, it could be worse. I think, yeah, I do think someone saying to you, it could be worse, is the worst advice you could give someone when they talk about how they're feeling.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that you just remind yourself occasionally.
Perspective is important. We spoke about that on a few podcasts ago.
Yeah, exactly. And I think but yeah, saying it could be worse is like, that is diminishing your own feels.
And it's also just
which
like,
isn't healthy.
It's a bit pointless. Like, it could also be fucking heaps better as well. So like, yeah, whatever. It's a bit of a nothing statement. Like, it could be way worse. Yeah, I could be on fire right now. It's
Yeah. So it'll be nice to have get as Christmassy as possible. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, this podcast will come out on Christmas Day, I think, or Christmas Eve, I believe.
Sure.
So perhaps we've got a nice little Christmas story or something to round it out. Maybe you can tell me a fond Christmas memory, Jonathan.
This will by far not be my worst Christmas.
Oh, okay, yeah. Go in on a shit Christmas for us.
I think I've already talked about this actually, so it's okay. When I had tonsillitis and I was home alone on Christmas.
Yeah, it's 2011.
Yeah, your then girlfriend's thing. I think mum and dad were in Norway, and I was watching Princess Bride in bed, sick, and like really sick. I needed to get antibiotics, and I think I ended up going to John's mum, calling her, or you spoke to her and got me some antibiotics because she's a doctor.
Oh.
But good Christmas. Eating smoked salmon and drinking champagne. That's what I'm going to do on Christmas Eve this year.
That's
like we do it at home.
Yeah, I would definitely be partaking in some of that kind of delightfulness. Yeah, that was a bad Christmas. But that didn't feel like Christmas for me either, because I went to this, girlfriend's family thing, and it was a bit shit, and it just took me completely out of the vibe of Christmas, and I would have really been happy probably just hanging with you. Watching The Princess Bride. But there's no way I was getting out of that thing.
That would have been good just to hang out with me. And you get sick as well. No, we're both sick.
I've got the virus too. I think one of my fond memories is definitely being in Texas a few years ago, and just everything that came along with Christmas there.
Yeah, that was a great Christmas. That's like top tier Christmas.
Me and Mum were talking the other day, and so lucky that happened then, because probably wouldn't have happened last year if it didn't. Like, it was just perfect timing for that to all to happen, because now other people have kids, and things are different, and the kids are a little bit older and everything like that. But yeah, I do. I think I've been having some moments recently where I do miss. I feel like sometimes I'm pretty good with my it's fine. Jono's away. It's fine. I haven't seen my nephews and nieces really much, but I do miss them, and I do miss you. I had a real moment the other day. I was like, I just want to go to the studio with Jono and have a mix, and then show you some tune that I'm working on, and you go, fuck yeah, this is sick. I'm going to work on this tomorrow. And then I come back and you've done some amazing work on it, and we've pushed things along. That's really exciting. And also to hang out with you and go to a party with you and to laugh and be silly. And I was pretty drunk, and I was throwing ice at a random person at a bar the other night. And I just thought, this is the kind of shit John and I would like to do. Throwing it, just popping it over a group of people, and then just going back to just dancing on the dance floor. And I didn't stop to know that it hit that person, but I know it hit them because the trajectory was just so perfect. And they would have been like, who is it? And then my mate threw a piece of ice, and he stopped. He looked kind of he was a bit more drunk, and he was basically made eye contact with the guy, and I was like, you are an idiot. This game is now over, and we are bullying a stranger, and this is stupid, we have to go. But it's that kind of buffoonery that I do miss with you, and also just the funny, the silly. We get a chance to be silly on when we conversate, but yeah, I miss you, and I miss. It also hit home when I was chatting to our niece and nephews the other day, and Sebastian, who's the middle child, said, Uncle Jeff, well, Audrey said, actually, Uncle Jeff, if you build an aeroplane, can you just come and visit us? And I was like, no, unfortunately I can't. And then Sebastian said yeah, why don't you just come over? He was like, I wish you could just come over. He's at a very I really wish kind of stage in his life. I wish you could come over, and you and Uncle Jono and Grandma and Papa could come over, and we could play Lego and all this stuff. And I was like, oh buddy, I wish I could too. And then I was like, but then I'd have to quarantine for 2 weeks before I could see you. And then I think they said that Mexico is the only place where you don't have to quarantine to get into Texas. And then Sebastian was like, well, if that's the case, just fly to Mexico and then come into Texas. He's already putting together plans for me. And I was like, oh man, I would love to just play with them. I'd just love to spend time with Leo and sit and read a new book and do some cool stuff, jump on the trampoline, come up with some new games. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe this time of the year is starting to have that kind of feeling towards me. Today is also the summer solstice. Summer solstice, Jonathan. Longest day of the year.
Shortest day of the year for me.
I'm not sure if the winter solstice and are they directly related? I don't think they are.
I don't know, but it's coming up.
Today,
winter solstice.
Today's the summer solstice for us.
Yeah, no, today's the winter solstice for us.
Okay, so they are directly inversely related. Well, there you go. Because the sun was, up until 7:45 or something.
Well, the sun is... it was sunny yesterday, but the sun started to go down at 3:30. Well, that's good. That gives me hope. That's the other thing, man. I'd have to recognize the the effect of seasonal. What is it? SADS. Seasonal something disorder.
Seasonal affective disorder, I think it is. It's where your mood.
I have to recognize that not having the sun is definitely impacting
Do you
my
take
mood.
vitamin D?
Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
I do. Take vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C, some other vitamins, B vitamins, fish oil. I lather lotion into my knees every night.
Wow.
But yeah, so it'll be nice. It'll be easier when it's sunnier.
I think you got to go through a bit more of a long dark tunnel.
Oh yeah, it's still got 2 months. We got 2 months of winter left.
Yeah. You can do it,
Hopefully
buddy.
it snows though. Hopefully snow in January would make me happy.
When was the last time it snowed in London?
Last time I experienced it was in January, maybe like January 20th
It snowed in
last
London
year.
last year.
Yeah, no, this year.
When you got back from
January.
Perth.
Yeah,
When did you
Yeah,
leave?
we-
When did you leave Perth?
14th of January.
Fuck. So it really has nearly been 12 months since I saw you.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
I think I'm gonna see you, and you're gonna be like, "You've aged terribly." Nah, just kidding. I look pretty good.
That sounds like it from all your cream regime, creaming regime.
I do pretty strong cream. Look, I've even got some here. This is a serum that I use on the end of my penis to keep it smooth. This is an exfoliating cream and cleanser I use on just my cheeks to keep them nice and rosy.
On the undercarriage of my penis.
I was, we'll end it on this because I thought it was quite a funny concept. I got a Manscaped. I think we've spoken about this. I got a Manscaped for Christmas for myself. And I was just describing using it to a friend. And I just made a joke that I have to use it because the space, like my penis is actually quite high up on my body. It's right below my belly button. So the space between the end of my penis and the beginning of my ball sack is like 3 or 4 inches.
And your snail trail almost leads directly to the base of your penis.
Yeah. I just thought it was funny. Thought it was just
That
a
is
funny
a-
image.
I think that would be a hilarious thing to do on like some porn or just like, some tasteful nudes. Just move in like a perfect Photoshop way, like so it's very seamless. Just move the penis and the balls up the body like 3 inches.
So it's
Like, what
underneath.
the fuck's going on there? So there's what appears to be the bottom of the stomach below the penis.
Yeah. So it's kind of coming out.
Yeah, that'd be very weird.
Genital placement is quite interesting. But let's start next week's podcast with that kind of thing.
Yeah. If you're in Perth, I hope to see you at tomorrow's show. At the court.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Because this comes out
Isn't
on
it
Christmas.
Boxing Day?
This comes out on Christmas, Jono.
Oh, yeah, right.
And tomorrow's show should be really, 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 really fun. Definitely putting together a few bangers, some old tunes, some new tunes, and taking people on a bit of a journey. But yeah, I'll fill you in on that later, Jonathan. But yeah, hopefully I'll see you all there, and also hopefully I can go to Adelaide. I'm willing the universe to be able to give me South Australia being 28 days COVID free, and it means on New Year's Day I will fly to Adelaide with Carl and play some music.
Sick. That's going to be such a good time.
It will be. Yeah, it's exciting. All right, buddy. Well, It's been lovely to chat to you again. I'm glad I could rally your spirits, and it's lovely to know what you do and in an asteroidal situation and what kind of movie you'd follow the instructions from.
Thank you for talking to me and making me laugh.
Anytime, buddy. You know where I am.
All right. Love you lots, man. See ya.
I love you too, man. See ya.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on your podcast app and keep up to date with all new episodes. They're going to be coming out once a week. We are Echo and Sidetrack on Facebook and Instagram. On Twitter, we are Echo Sidetrack. Go listen to our music on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube, or wherever your ears consume happiness. Lots of love, people.